A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you're doing good. Today is 10th October 2020. Day is Saturday, and I would like to start or share, in fact, a technique called Pomodoro technique with you guys. If you're struggling with attention, or if you are not able to achieve your targets, then do give it a go. What you need to do with this Pomodoro, or how Pomodoro technique works, is you need to set a timer, right? Use your mobile phone. If you don't have a dedicated timer, that's fine. What you can do is set a timer for 25 minutes in your mobile phone, and then start doing your work or maybe your studies. And once you hit this 25 minute, once the timer goes on, you can set a timer for 5 minutes, and this 5 minutes is your pure break, right? Just go away from your table or desk, go into your other room, or if you are in a library, then step out of library for 5 minutes. But you have to strictly follow this timer, okay? And then once this 5 minute break is over, again set your timer for 25 minutes and start studying for 25 minutes, again 5 minute break. And if you do this thing, then you will realize that you will be focused. You will stay, you are basically creating compartments. You are compartments in the sense that you are creating 25 minutes compartments, that in this 25 minutes all you are going to do is study. And if you see, then you in 1 hour you have spent some 50 minutes studying and 10 minutes in break, which is not bad at all. You may think that this 10 minute is waste of time. It is not waste of time. It is in fact investment of your time. So do give it a go. You will, I'm sure, benefit out of it. With this, dear friends, StudyIQ team has designed a smart course. Now this smart course is for Civil Services Examination. It covers your prelims as well as mains examination. And to find out more about it, all you have to do is download our mobile application. Till 16th October 2020, EMI offer is also available on our smart courses. Information pertaining to EMI offer, again, available on our mobile application. Download the PDF of today's lecture from my Telegram channel. If you are on Facebook, you can follow my Facebook page. Please make sure that you hit the like button. I see there are so many people, right, before the video starts, they hit the dislike button. I don't mind, right, it's their choice, but before watching the video, right, hitting a dislike button, like, why you are spreading hate everywhere? It doesn't matter. God bless you, right? That's what I can say. And I'm sure they are not listening, because they never watch this video. They just hit the dislike button. Anyway, dear friends, please make sure that you share this lecture with other students, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Today is Saturday, so we don't have that many articles to go through. We have just 3 articles, but that does not mean that these articles are not important. The first one is about India-China. Very important article. It's not about the routine things that you know. It's something different today. Then we have 2 articles. Both of them are associated, or they are, related with medical sector. And then we have some news items. So let's start with this one. What Xi means what Xi Jinping, the head of China, right, president of China, what he should do. Now, Beijing, for China, this border with India is not a top priority border. It is a secondary strategic direction. This has been said by M. Taylor Fravel. He is a scholar on China. He is expert with China. So he says that Beijing has viewed the border with India as a secondary strategic direction. Its primary focus for China, the most important border or the region, is this arc that we find here. Starts from Japan, then Taiwan, and then South China Sea, right? And from last 70 years, USA has been here as per in this arc region. So this is the region, right? If you are a regular student, then you will be aware about this thing, that we have talked about this region earlier on as well, when we were talking about South China Sea and China's aggression. But anyway, let's quickly go through it again. So here you can see East China Sea, and you see the Senkaku Islands. So these are like disputed islands between Japan and China. Japan is saying that this island belongs to Japan, and China, as we know, that whatever it finds nearby, right? If China will spot a weak, means if it will identify a weak spot, then it will claim that, okay, this is ours. That's how China operates. And here you can see Taiwan, right? This is Taiwan Strait here, and this is Taiwan as a country, and China does not recognize Taiwan as a country. It says that it is part of China, and people of Taiwan, they don't accept China as, they don't accept themselves or their land or their country as part of China. So this is how it is going. Something similar to what's going on in Tibet. And then we have this portion of South China Sea. We have talked about 9-dash line. Remember? 9-dash line is this whole portion. There are, like, if you are a new student, then let me tell you, 9-dash line is nothing more like China has, said that there are this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, right? So roughly this 9 lines here, 1, 2, 3, in this way. So till here. So what China is saying, that this whole portion of South China Sea belongs to China. And it is also said that you find minerals in this South China Sea, and this is one of the main reasons why China is interested here. And that's not the only importance of South China Sea. It is a very important sea that connects Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean with each other. So let's say if you want to go to Pacific Ocean from Indian Ocean, then the best route is here. From here, you will pass through this strait. Now, I have one question for you. Can you give me the name of this strait that you see here? Right, just stick your answer in the comment section. From here, you enter South China Sea, and from here, there are some dedicated routes through which you enter, Pacific Ocean. So it's like highways, ocean highways, if I can use this new thing, right? New terminology, ocean highways. So it's like a old ocean highway that has been used by so many countries, and it connects this Pacific Ocean with the Indian Ocean, as I just said. So China's, for China, this region is more important. It is number one priority because you find a very strong country called USA is present here. Do you know this fact that USA has military bases in this part of the world? And here as well, the protection of this region, as far as I know, for a very long period of time has been provided by USA. So China acts on this southwestern secondary direction when it feels that India is threatening its claims or stability. It will only misbehave here. When I say here, I'm talking about this region. Maybe Arunachal Pradesh region, or if you go a little bit eastward, then we find this Ladakh portion, isn't it, of our country. So Aksai Chin and other places. China misbehaves here only when it feels that India is some sort of threat. When it finds that it's like a remote control, or it's like a key in China's hand. So, or a button, right, that China will press whenever it will feel a little bit uncomfortable with India. So China has created a situation where, it is not, at present things are a bit rough, but so far, I'm talking about so far, if you see, then China has used this button in such a way, or this point in such a way that it will create troubles, it will create, shock waves in India, but these shock waves are not that big that will create a state of war. It will definitely give India some sleepless night, but it will not turn into, it's more like, the way Pakistan proxy war. Pakistan knows that it cannot go for a full-fledged war with India, so it keeps on sending these intruders in our country. Something like that China is also doing. And it's very difficult to read what's going on in the minds of top leaders in China. At Ladakh, we find that both sides have massed forces and have the capacity to launch localized attacks. This forces or this preparation is not that big that will, create a ground for a full-fledged war. But yes, there are enough soldiers that can create a localized attack over there. Diplomatic channels are open, so that's a good thing. From if you see wars around the world, then most of the time, if the war will take place when your diplomatic channels will face, when diplomatic relations or this discussion between two countries, when they are stopped, that's the time. And diplomacy is the first, you can say, first layer of defense. Most of the things are sorted out at diplomatic level before we see things taking place at grassroots level or in this strategic locations. There are new CBMs, confidence building measures, that both sides are hoping to follow. Hopefully China will follow it, because most of the times we have seen that China has rejected. It talks on the table that we are going to follow the CBMs, but later on it will not follow it. So it's the responsibility of China to make sure that it creates an environment of confidence, that India will feel confident enough that this time China is doing things that are necessary to sort out this issue once and for all. Or if not once and for all, then whatever the current situation is, we can definitely sort it out. Now, the problem is that China has underestimated the power or the strength or the capacity of India. It thought that this is the same India that it fought back in 1962, but today's India is altogether different, isn't it? China is probably not aware of the emotions in our country. When it comes to our country, all of us are one, isn't it? We act in unison, and this is beauty of our country. We are such a diverse country, but when it comes to India, every one of us, right, is like one big force. And the thing is that China cannot ignore USA. If USA has started coming closer, both these nations, right, India and USA, they are coming closer and closer to each other. This is creating uneasiness for China. The texture of India-US military relationship is also improving. And a few days ago, we were talking about this thing when this Quad meeting took place in Tokyo. Mike Pompeo was very clear. He was to the point. He used China's name as well in his speech, and he talked about this Chinese aggressiveness in Himalayas are a signal and things like that. So China can step up its deployments, pin down India in an expensive and extensive deployment along the Himalaya, but New Delhi will still retain sufficient capacity to pose a threat to China in Tibet. And once we'll start pressing Tibet button, this will detract China and it will be out of focus. And once it is out of focus on the other side, this most important side for China, this primary strategic direction, you will see more stronghold of USA. So overall, we can say that China is in a catch-22 situation. If we feel that China is in a very strong position, yes, China is a strong country. I'm not saying that we should take it lightly. But the thing is that if China steps back, then this will prove that it was China's fault, that it entered Indian portion. The second thing is it will not be just the defeat or retreat of China. It will be retreat of Xi Jinping, because he has invested so much thing, his energy, his name is invested here in this LSE issue, and there are so many competitors of Xi Jinping back home. So it's not like Xi Jinping, no one is aiming to reach the place where Xi Jinping is. There are so many people in his party, right? They also would like to become president of China. There are youngsters, they also aspire to become president or the head of China, and there is nothing wrong with it, right? So if he will step back, then that will be, like it will create political losses for Xi Jinping. So as you can see here, China is in a much difficult situation here. Medicines neglected half. Here we are going to talk about palliative care. I'm going to be very to the point and precise here, that palliative care is, you are given some sort of drugs. Now these drugs, normally if you find it on the street, then they will be in the category of banned substances. But there are few few drugs, if they are medically given to you, then they are for your, for to cure your pain, or to reduce your pain, or to give you a normal life. Normally, people suffering, or earlier on, people suffering from cancer were given this palliative care, but now we find that people suffering from HIV/AIDS and other sort of neurological, neuromuscular diseases, metabolic disorder, organ failures, cardiac or respiratory conditions, liver conditions, are also given palliative care. And there is nothing wrong with it at all. There are people living with incurable health conditions. There are so many diseases, right? People suffer from it very badly, right? They carry this pain throughout their life, or there are few weeks or few hours in a day where they go through extreme amount of pain, and so many people, they commit suicide out of it. There's so many people, they don't commit suicide, but their life becomes, if I may use this word, hell, a living hell, because of this pain, because they don't have access to this palliative care. And sadly, palliative care is not recognized as it should be, and access to it is restricted. As you can see here, WHO says that approximately every year 40 million, we are talking about how many people? 4 crore people, they need palliative care every year. Out of them, 78% live in low and middle income countries. 21 million children, they need palliative care, and out of this 21 million, or you can say 2 crore 10 lakhs children, 98%, roughly speaking 1 crore 80, like something like that, they need, means they belong to low and middle income countries. So they don't get access to other things. How they are going to get access to this palliative care? And making palliative care accessible to all those who need it is not an impossible dream. It is something that is achievable. For that, our leaders, executives, decision makers, they have to be educated. We need to create awareness so that they recognize palliative care as a very important way of treatment. There is a misconception that it's about opioids, and it's about morphine, and it's more about substance abuse rather than care, and that's not right. If it is administered in a professional medical environment, then it will help that patient. A person can give, or can be given, or a person can live a normal life. And not just normal life, he can happily live for some extra weeks as well, or some extra years, So NGOs are doing a commendable job, but they have limited funds. And what we need to do now is, we need to, as a government, India should recognize palliative care as a very important part of treatment. Training people, each and everyone, right? Doctors, nurses, or overall health worker is also not a big deal. We can easily achieve it. Of course, we need to add some extra efforts, but this is something that is possible. And in this article, the writer is saying that I am not only referring to physical pain, but mental and spiritual pain as well. On this World Hospice and Palliative Care Day, my care, my effort is the message of this year's this special day, right? So palliative care is important, and this topic is important from your essay point of view. Now, one more topic that we are going to talk about, this one is about saving lives under the long shadow of the pandemic. This one again is important from your essay point of view. And of course, it's about coronavirus and its impact on our society or our general life. So, you can find a question, you can find a topic of essay in, or if not a particular topic, then if you're writing something about COVID-19, then you can talk about this angle as well that we are going to talk about. So, as we all know, right, we have, or we are going through this fear that we may get infection, and we are a bit not sure about this COVID-19 still, isn't it? So this is a sort of it is creating a sort of stress, or it is creating a mental health situation. It affects our mental health, isn't it, when we are stressed about COVID-19, stepping out of home. See, when we are concerned, that's a different thing. Being concerned is not bad. It's important. But when you are afraid, when you are too much afraid, there are so many people, they are not going out at all, right? They are not allowing anyone to come. They are not going out. Their life is because of this fear, and I don't blame these people. I'm not saying that they are cowards. I'm not saying that they don't have any backbone. No. It's very important for us to understand that we have to be very sensitive, right? Every one of us is different. Every one of us reacts to or replies to various different situation in our own. We have our own way of reacting or replying. And lockdowns have led to isolation. There are so many people, they were on this verge, they were right on the border of going into depression or entering into a mental disorder situation. And lockdown and this COVID-19 has pushed so many of them in this situation. Something similar happened in United States as well back in 1918 to 19. The rate of deaths by suicide went up. Back in 2003, when Hong Kong was hit by the SARS epidemic, at that point of time, older people, they committed suicide because they were, fed up, and they were not like, it's not like they were not willing to live. For them, it's not, I mean to say, it's not like they were willing to die, but living for them was a very difficult thing. It was like hopeless. Before the pandemic, India's progress as one of the fastest growing economies led to large paradigm shifts in the daily lives of its citizens. Major lifestyle shifts led to the rise of many lifestyle disorders in the last decade. I'll be very brief here. One thing that I find these days so many people are suffering from is sleep disorder. So many people cannot sleep on time, or they find it very difficult to sleep because we are not doing any sort of physical exercises, right? We are whole day, people are either sitting, if they want to go from here to there, they are using motorcycles or cars. And, even when we are in the bed, we use mobile phones, and then we realize that we have wasted our one or 2 hours or more than that just surfing some videos or watching something on the internet. So this lifestyle is destroying us, right? It is like gradually taking things away from us. It is taking away one of the most important fuel, that is attention. We give attention to these things, and we are using our limited, every day we have a certain amount of energy, right? Attention is not unlimited. It is unlimited when you see, like, you can use it every day, but the thing is, you need to recharge it as well. If you have a proper good night's sleep, then you will get a full recharge of attention, and that day you can have most productive day. So it depends on what if you have been to bed on time, and if you had sound sleep, this is very, very important, right? I can go on and on about this thing because I have done so many experiments with this thing. So I know this thing, that sleep is one of the most important thing that you do in a day. I'm sure many of you are surprised, but yes, sleep is the most important. If you sleep every day properly, then after a few weeks' time, you will find that your productivity has gone up, your energy level has gone up. The more energy, the more productive you are, the better you are going to achieve. Mental health disorders are very common these days. We find other non-communicable diseases, they are very common these days, and the psychological disorders and distress, they eventually end up in a suicide if they are not looked after very well. So necessary precautions such as social distancing, limited interactions, and mask usage are important, but they are also creating a new normal. Social, physical, economical, as well as mental impacts are going to be there. And sadly, the first COVID-19 related suicide in the world took place in our country back on 12th February 2020. And there are so many people, they have this fear of infection. When they get infected, they have fear of how they are going to pay hospital bills. Then I think, this media, they keep on showing you COVID-19 thing again and again, and that creates a big fear in our head. I'm not saying that, again, I told you, right, being concerned is a different thing and being afraid is a different thing. So we should be concerned about COVID-19, but we should not be that much afraid that if we are COVID positive, then we jump from a building. No, 85%, right? In our country, average recovery rate is 85%. So chances of you coming out of hospital is quite higher compared to your, health deteriorating. So, and this is something that I'm not telling you guys. You guys are okay, but I'm telling it to. I am sharing this thing with you guys because so that you can share it with someone else, and we can create a positive environment. And that's basically everything here, right? There are a few points that if we want to treat this this mental health situation, first of all, we have to be sensitive. First of all, we cannot take it lightly. We cannot joke about this thing that if someone is suffering from mental health issue, then in our country, sadly, in our society, India, we just say that person is mental, but that is not good. We are sensitive with so many other things. We need to be sensitive here. We need to show compassion to those people who are suffering, because it is something that can happen to anyone these days. So there are 3 universal strategies to stop suicides in any nation. First, or this general thing is they should not have access to this hazardous pesticides or substances. Reduction in consumption and availability of alcohol, and a non-sensationalized and responsible portrayal of suicide by media. There are so many people, they do bad things or they commit suicide so that their name will come, recognition. Even after death, people seek recognition. But when media will cover this thing, just imagine, right? Sushant Singh Rajput's case is still, there are so many channels, they are showing you that thing only. I'm not saying that he's not important, but the thing is, so many suicides, right? Those people who have committed suicide after Sushant Singh Rajput's death, so many of them, if you go through it, then you will find that out of them, many of them have done it so that they thought like their name will come, or their photo and things will come, and people will talk about them. And this may look very stupid, but this is a reality. If you go a little bit deeper into this zone, then you will find that, when I say zone, I mean to say, if you study this suicide and tendencies, then you will find that recognition is a very important thing. People around the world, right, all of us, more than food, more than clothes, more than money, more than other things, deep down we need recognition. And there are people, right, they do so many crazy things to get this recognition. A majority of individuals who are suicidal do not really want to die, but they find living very difficult. This is a very important line. And today is World Mental Health Day. Today is 10th October, is celebrated as World Mental Health Day. So this is the reason why we have talked about this article in detail. I have gone through other newspapers as well. Sadly, in the Hindu newspaper, I found just one article that is important. And there was one article on RBI Monetary Policy Committee decision, but I have covered it in daily financial news analysis anyway, so there is no point of repeating that article here. And there are a few news items on your screen, of course. You can download the PDF. I have already shared it on my Telegram channel, and please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. Now I will bring out daily financial news analysis after this lecture. And that's it from my side for today, right? Tomorrow is Sunday, so no lectures tomorrow. I will directly meet you now on, if you are following daily financial news analysis, then yes, I will meet you. If not, then I will directly meet you on Monday. God bless you all. Enjoy your weekend. Jai Hind.